Hello everyone, Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out a game called Usurper. I've spent about 5 hours on this and I enjoy it quite a lot. If you're into chess-themed roguelikes, you're probably going to enjoy this. If you don't really care for chess, this might not be for you. However, it's not just your average chess roguelike, and I will show you as we get into the run what makes this so different. So first I want to look at the index real quick and show you guys some of the pieces. So it starts off with like your basic chess pieces, right? You have your normal chess stuff plus the plebeian, which is like super pawn, and a princess, which is like a weaker queen, cavalier and steed, and stuff is like upgraded knights and whatnot. And you can upgrade all these things during a run. But it also has 4 factions. I've only unlocked 3. Last one takes a little bit. It has basically the base faction, which is well balanced. The second one, which is more rush down. It does a very good job of showing you where each piece can move and how far and whatnot. And then this has the ranged faction, which is my favorite because it has the sniper and the cannon, and they are hilarious to use. Sniper and cannon fire the full length of the board at anything against them. But besides all that, let's get into the gameplay and let me show you what's going on. So, we're going to single player. This does have multiplayer. I haven't played any. I imagine that would just stress me out at this point. We are going to play with let's just play with the starter deck and we can add other stuff as we go. I think that's the best way to show this off. So, we're going to play on difficulty 1, which is, because I've only beaten this on 0 before, which is no decreases or whatever. So we start each round with 1 less power. Power is mana in this game. Also, before each act, it works the same way as Slay the Spire. There's like 3 rounds and then there's a boss. You will pick a gambit, which will do something. So 2 cards in your decks swap their power. So this could be good because you could swap a queen's power with a pawn, so you could have a 1-cost queen. Or this one, remove a random card from your deck and add its reserves to your other cards in the deck. So I guess we need to talk about reserves real quick before we go any further. This number at the bottom right is your reserves. This is how many of this unit you have in your deck. So we have 3 pawns on this card and 3 pawns. So we have 6 pawns total. I'm going to swap because good things can happen here. Queen with pawn. Okay, well, that's the dream, right? So we have a 1-cost queen. We're off to an insane start. And you see, we're going to do 9 matches and a final battle. We're playing against King, who's a basic guy here. You'll play against some units that have different abilities and whatnot. So you might notice there's no pieces on the board. This is where it gets super interesting. As opposed to normal chess, this is kind of like reverse chess, where you're deploying your units. It plays a lot like a tactics game. We also have an optional quest here of skip 6 or fewer purchase phases. So we want to buy a lot. So the way the game works, you have your power here. This is your mana. You draw 3 cards a turn. You can also skip buying. And this is the total number of cards. This is the number of reserves you have. You have a limited amount of units. If you run out, well, you're probably going to lose. You don't end by getting checkmated. You end by actually getting captured. You have to purchase a unit before you can move. You can't move and then purchase a unit. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into where you could place units to put your enemy king under threat so that they need to move. And then make a move that also puts them under threat to apply additional pressure. For example, I'm going to put this knight here, which is going to put him under threat this way. Then what I'm going to do is, and I don't know if this is optimal or not, but I'm going to put the queen right here, which puts both of these under threat. So he's going to have to move. Now, I don't get to buy anything because I don't have any power. But we do get to make a choice here when we move. Now, unlike regular chess, where you might just want to press your advantage, I have found more success in just nabbing up pieces, typically. Although, in this case, it might make more sense to just put the king back in check. I'm thinking we could either... So our options are take this knight or move over here, which would limit him to basically having to move here, which I think is okay. I'm going to do that. The downside to this is that it's very possible he could have drawn a pawn, played a pawn behind himself, and captured my knight, and then that would have all been terrible. So now what we get to do, and this is where it gets really silly, right? Because now I think we just win. If I'm doing this correctly, I get to drop this here. And he shouldn't have anywhere to go if I move this here. Because he's under pressure. He has nowhere to go, right? So he's just conceding. So I can skip this phase and capture, and that's how we win the round. So that was a pretty easy win, right? It's not always going to be like that. Sometimes it's going to be very difficult. But because we completed our optional objective, we get a buff. So we gained a plebeian, which is a 0 cost, one reserve that goes like a super pawn. And now you get to add a unit to your deck. So you can add a knight. Knights are fantastic still. A steed, which is like a knight that's better at going forward, but he can move backwards slower. And then you can add a ruby, which is like a forward-facing rook. I'm a fan of going very knight-heavy, personally, in my chess endeavors. All right, uses elite empire units. This is a ranged guy. He has nothing special. And you are going to upgrade your characters as you go. Place 6 or fewer units. Okay, if that's the case, then let's go ahead and drop our queen and move. This puts him in check, so he has to move his king. I mean, he's going to do that anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but I just like doing it. I think we can go ahead and drop the knight and just move our king forward. Because in this game, you're going to use your king offensively a lot more than you would in regular chess. This guy's a little bit of a problem in the sense that he's kind of just in the way of progress. I could reposition my queen if I wanted to. This guy's holding down a lot of space. I think I'm going to put this here to threaten this guy. So this is a black tower. It literally cannot move, but it can shoot any one of these squares. Any of the 4 orthogonal squares. Well, he moved forward, which is kind of interesting. Because that makes me just want to drop another knight here and just go ahead and put him in check and just see what happens. He dropped a second tower. Oh no. It's actually fine. It doesn't matter. So, with the plebeian here, the one problem I have at the moment is this guy's getting targeted, and I don't like it. But I don't really want to play another unit. So I think what I'm going to do is just move this over here. And this is dangerous when you start spreading all your units up like this, because he can place a unit and then move to like double threaten things. Drawing a bishop there is kind of nice, because now we get to drop this here. And we get to move this guy. Which, again, I'm playing this in a way where I complete this side objective. Or at least that's what I'm trying to do. So he's targeting those areas now. He's really, like, just cluttering up the board. Kind of rude. This pawn is kind of interesting. The problem is this knight is in danger. And, well, the only way to save it is to just go back. But I think that's fine. One other thing about this, getting a pawn to the opposite side of the board does not promote to a queen, which seems like super relevant information to me. Okay, I can play 2 more pieces. I'm just gonna drop this guy here and do like this. This guy's in actual hell right now. So this thing only shoots 2 away. I don't think that's necessarily a problem. Question is, where do I put my stuff? Play 6 or fewer units. Keyword there is are fewer. So like if I was to, problem is I can't get the queen over here. So I could move the queen up here. Then he's stuck going in this area. Okay, knight here. Queen here. He's really running out of spaces. This attacks here, this attacks here. Everything's clean. I can't play another unit. But I think this play wins. I don't know where he goes to escape now. Yeah, it's over. Okay. I have defeated the computer. Again, you can play this in multiplayer if you want. I have been really enjoying this. This has been like a Steam Deck game for me. When I want like a little puzzly chess game. Mixed with some roguelike. All right, so we got an iron, which is a kind of sweet unit. It goes up and it's like a knight, but it can also go up and down. And we will be oh, we could promote a queen to be a little extra, or we could just take a sniper. I'm gonna take a sniper. And I will outright just take a queen. Generally speaking, I don't think there's a reason to not take queens that I've seen so far. Yes, it normally costs 4. But the value you get from a queen, because you're drawing 3 random cards a turn, you almost always want it. Now, this is silly. So, okay, so this guy moves like a bishop 2 spaces. But we're going to make him move. Although, actually, I was excited about playing my sniper. We're definitely playing the queen. And we're playing the queen because we do have a deck here. So we'd have to go all the way through the deck to find it again. What is this? Black Pearl. I haven't seen this unit. There is a decent amount of meta progression as far as that type of stuff goes. Let's just drop an iron. And I guess I'm just gonna kill the Black Pearl. Maybe that was a foolish move. Wait, did the computer just loot? No, they have a lot of movement. Okay. Thought the computer just lost. Actually, it's very awkward. I'm gonna go here, so it's gonna push you down. Is he gonna only move at angles? That's very silly. There's no quest for this one, so I'm just gonna drop this guy here. Now he can only move in so many different directions. I guess the smart thing to do would be to rally him in. Like if I go here, he has to go back. We drew the sniper. So here's the thing about sniper. I don't think there's ever a time when it's really bad to play it, because it covers the whole lane. The only problem is it doesn't really do anything here. So like now I do this, right? And what's he supposed to do? He can't. Yeah, he just loses. I'm the GOAT. I am the GOAT. Get out of here, Magnus Carlsen. All right, now, since that was the Act 1 boss, technically, the Lord, we have to upgrade our ruler, which means we can get a extra placement tiles, so we could place further away. We get crazy diagonal movement or crazy backward movement. I'm a big fan of extra placement because it lets you do some really unfair things. We get card draft. We get copper. I don't think... I think there's a decent strategy for getting a bunch of one-cost units. Now, these guys only go forward, which kind of sucks. But I'm going to take it. Just 3 reserve units seem very strong, especially against these guys, because they're just going to be throwing hordes at you. That's like literally what they do. I don't play any units that cost 1 power. Well, that's an awkward. Okay, we're going to try and do this optional quest, but it's going to be difficult. Sniper helps. So he's going to be on the back line. I'm going to move here. I'm going to move up a little bit. So, yeah, I'm not going to deploy my queen. I'm actually going to drop this guy here to put him in check, and then we're going to snipe. Boop. Boop. Just give him a little tap. Oh, that pawn would be really good right now. The funny thing is the sniper even gets to move, which seems absurdly strong. All right, we'll skip. I guess... Well, they're protecting each other. I guess we're going to move back. We're just going to retreat. All right, so we're going to have to retreat our king here. I don't love exactly... But this is where the extra placements comes in handy, because now I get to back up like this. This guy got to move around. Now, if he moves forward, that's going to suck. That's kind of what I figured he would do. I should have moved here. I can't take because that takes back. This was kind of a bad turn. I should have used my rewind. You get 3 rewinds over the course of your run. Black Shogun's there. Yeah, like I said, this is kind of a rush down. This would have been much easier if you cheeky... you cheeky bastard. Okay, he's going after my sniper, I guess. Which is kind of upsetting. So I could save it if I wanted to. We can also... Libyan's pretty decent here. So, I think the answer is actually to move the sniper. I'm gonna skip, and I'm gonna move the sniper here. That was not what I expected. That seems like a bad decision on his part, but that's okay. We can live with that. He's really after it. So, with that being the case, and again, like I said, you do want to trade up in this game if you can. I think we're gonna drop a bishop. And I can't attack through. So, I really don't want to trade that for a copper. That seems very bad. I'm going to move back. I'm going to make him decide what he wants to do. He can have his trades where he wants. Okay, he doesn't want to trade at all. That's really interesting, actually. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this knight here. This puts him in check, right? This guy can't move over and take it. He's going to have to move this. Because he's going to have to move that, I'm going to throw this guy here. So we're going to get a clean shot. If that's what we choose to do. We also get a plebeian we could drop right here if we choose, which actually, I'd rather drop it right here because this can move around. So I could shoot this copper if I wanted to. Just looking at what's in danger. So that could get taken. This could get taken. But if it does, it's not like that big a deal. I think the most interesting thing might just be putting the king in check again. The Black Shogun. Making him move back. Forcing the Shogun to retreat seems to be very strong. And now I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna take this guy. Sure, that's totally he is obsessed with taking my my white sniper, which is kind of funny. All right, I'm gonna drop a rook here, and I'm just gonna back this guy up. Oh, that couldn't have been right. That feels really bad. All right, so we're gonna skip. We're gonna go here. Hey, look, if he takes this knight, he takes a knight. You can't save all your units in this game. Now, you don't want to give them up for free. So I'll make him pay for it. Interesting decision. No, I'm not really buying any of that. The other thing to look at is the overtime clock. Once this hits 0, there starts a countdown and the board starts shrinking. So that's a whole nother aspect of the game that will keep it from going forever. This square appears to be safe. I think this knight's supposed to just move here. Yeah. Am I just supposed to throw down another knight? I kind of feel like I am. Or maybe we hold back. I'm gonna get rid of this black ruby. It's a problem. I don't care if he trades here. That thing is basically it's basically a rook. All right, you're gonna go here. We're gonna get this thing out. Sniper's gonna get value. Yeah, the only worry about a setup that we have currently right now is that when overtime hits, we are not in the center of the board. Which is why, instead of shooting right now, I'm just going to go queen here and make him do something. And this guy can't even go backwards. So, overtime starts next turn. This guy does go all the way over. I'm gonna go right here. So we have 8 turns until this evaporates, and once it does, well, that's it for our heroes. So because of that, I'm not going to play any units. I'm going to snipe this thing so that I can move my king. Overtime, there's 6 left. I'm going to skip. I'm going to get this bishop. That's my king, not my bishop. Very notably, the wrong unit. I'm going to get him out of here, just in case. That does kind of basically say that this rook is doomed, as they say. But it also lets me do this. And this... And now he's in a conundrum. Because the queen was protected. So whatever units I have on the edge after this turn are just dead. But this is a good example. So I put a rook there. I'm going to move next to him. Board's about to shrink. I'm going to lose some units. He's going to... Well, he just sacrificed that for no reason. Board becomes a complete mess, but it doesn't matter now because I just get to go here and... oh, actually, he was already dead. Never mind. I missed a kill. Whatever. It's fine. We get the job done. We continue. We get to promote a knight. What do we get from it? Nope. Promote a queen. Queen plus. Queen plus is like whatever. She gets extra moves, kind of like a knight, but it's not great. Remove half the cards in your deck. The rest costs 1 less power. No. Remove a random card in your deck and add its reserves to another card. Okay. Oh. Okay. That's actually kind of neat. All right, so we can get a peasant, which is a weird pawn variant that can move diagonally but not forward, but it can always take. And princess, which is again kind of like a nerfed, the nerfed queen. I don't think it's as good. I like the 1-cost units aside from the quest. Oh, it shows you next. Spend 10 or less total power. Okay, I think we could do that. And still win. So that last round obviously went a lot longer. It was a little bit harder. These are going to happen. There's a pawn, a peasant, and a copper. It's very funny. We have the whole set here. I am just going to go with the pawn out front and then move up behind him. So I really do enjoy this game. I think it's a really neat system. Iron is just like a really interesting version of Knight. I think I'm going to play it just to get it. It gets it out of my deck for one. And he played it right back on me too. So if I'm going to trade. I don't know if trading is good though. Because... No. Well, I was going to play a sniper, but the queen is too appealing. We played a pawn. I was going to play the sniper. But I don't know. I've lost my train of thought now. This is fine. Okay, so now you're about to see some of the shenanigans. Because we could deploy 2 forward now, I get to just put him in check from here. And also move. Which does allow me to, if I would like, to scoot back here, cover the whole back line, which means he can only move to here. Now, does that actually accomplish anything? That's a different story. But this guy can't move back, so then I could go here. It's just a whole lot of nothing burger, I think, though. But it's not doing anything here, so I might as well. He plays a Long John Silver there. Oh, oh, that's right, because it's not a pawn. It was a cop. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Actually, hold on. $10 or less power, you say? Put him in check. He's gonna have to take it. We're gonna attrition this one out. Do I even want a knight? I think I do. Problem is, where do I want the knight? Probably here. Then this guy's gonna shoot him. We can have 2 power to play, but we only have 1. So I could play 2 pawns if I wanted to. I'm gonna play 1 bigger unit. I think we got an easy check there. Oh, we played a black iron. That's very cute. So this is one of the reasons that playing the cards before moving is so important, because otherwise we could shoot this guy, play the knight, but we cannot shoot through our own units, so I cannot do that, which is a little bit unfortunate. However, yeah, we'll just skip. That's fine. Oh. We are living in Value Town right now. All right. You will go here. You will go here. This is acceptable. Spend 10 or less. Okay, I believe we have spent all we can. This guy is covering this square and this square. So if I am to move my queen here, he cannot escape unless he plays a thing blocking this, which he did not. This gets to the end and does nothing. I feel like that part's weird to me, that part of the game. Rushed, and we get an upgrade. They get kind of cheaty later on. Not cheaty, but like ridiculous. We can promote this queen. We can reduce the cost of this queen. I think that's the easy choice. Archer, I do not like. I've already said I'm a fan of knights, so I'm gonna keep taking him. As far as I know, you can't skip either. I don't know what this hammer is. Oh, that's the debuffs. Baron marks 4 tiles each turn. The player cannot place units on. Okay, I have not fought this guy before, but that's interesting. So we start with the sniper, and we're just gonna move on up. Wow, he just threw away a princess. So I cannot place tiles on those. Okay, what about a queen? What about a queen right here, and then I shoot your princess? That seems relatively unfair, to be honest. I will drop a plebeian here and just infiltrate in the back. Stop putting stuff around me like this. It's really annoying, actually. Huh. Just skip and move up. Princess cannot target me here. A lot of stuff being guarded. This is a black pawn. This is a pawn. But placing this here puts him under threat. If I... if I go here, he has to move the other way. I think he's dead. Am I wrong? Right, he does that, but he can't move. He just has to move into the way of the sniper. Pa-pow! Pa-chow, if you will. Yeah. Yeah, whoops. Whoopsie daisy, my dude. All right, so now we get more upgrades for our king. The good thing to note here is that these do override your other ones. So you don't, if we took a range forward, this would override our forward placement, which is bad. So movement vertical is great. Place diagonal, I still think better placement is priority. Card draft. Lance is pretty good. I am a pawn enjoyer, though. Being able to play more units seems better to me. Only uses Empire units. Okay. So this guy's going to be like only snipers. Complete the round in 8 turns or less. That seems difficult. I'm going to be honest. Well, that guy's dead. Well, you know, maybe it won't be so hard. Move forward. The one thing you have to worry about with this guy is him placing units that put you in check. Wait a second. So I could cover the back. Oh, those are both pawn. Wait. This goes here. This makes him move forward. Played a cannon. How does he get out of this? The cannon can only shoot 2 away in like straight lines. Copper moves forward. Pawn moves diagonal. Not the luckiest batch here. This pushes him back. Maybe I'm just supposed to play a copper just to make him move. If I play a copper, he has to move here. And maybe I come around from the backside like this. He played a oh, he blocked himself in. I don't... Sometimes the AI does that. I guess it probably gets harder on higher difficulties, but I've noticed sometimes the AI will just get themselves. I will take a power upgrade, thank you. A 0-cost queen? Well, that doesn't seem fair. Choose a gamblet. Dealer's gamblet. Make a random card in your deck, cost 0 power. It permanently increases its cost by 1 whenever played. No. Demote a random promoted unit. It costs 2 less. Okay. We are the deck of cheap queens right now. Earl goes backwards. Some more knights, please. Knights and queens all day. That last guy was a boss, which is kind of funny. What is this? Don't move or place a piece on the center 4 tiles. That's kind of awkward. Okay, I'm gonna scoot to the right then. Okay, I mean, I guess if he also does that, it works out. This guy up? No. Okay. Never lucky. I'm just gonna move up 1 on my king. That's not what I wanted to see. Oh, now he's just in the way. So, a copper here is kind of funny. And then this here. So he does do... okay, I guess that wasn't funny. I guess it was kind of just bad. I'm gonna drop a queen here. I'm gonna move back this way. He's gonna put me in check. That's totally fine. I'm gonna drop a pawn. I'm gonna take his knight, putting him in check with this queen, protecting the knight with this queen. Yeah. Oh, I screwed up the challenge. Damn it. Damn it. Oh, look, a rook. I'm gonna drop it back over here because that's fair. And I guess I should just put it here. And he can't move anywhere. He's dead. Yeah, that's fine. You put me in check, but I get you first. Oh, I'm speedrunning the game. Yeah, I messed up. Choose a reward. Promote a knight. Upgrade this to cost 0 or get a plebeian. I just like getting a plebeian. And then we can get a paladin, which is like it's a bishop horse. I'll take a paladin. I think a bishop horse is pretty good. We have a bunch of cheap cards as it is anyway. The penultimate boss. Marks a player unit for destruction every other turn. This is a pretty interesting fight. You can move out of it, so it's not like that bad. But you do have to move out of it. Let me see it this turn. Oh, double queen. Black Ranger, huh? I'm just gonna put the queen here. Okay, so this guy is marked. So if I do not move him, he will be dead. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the sniper, put it here, and we're just gonna step forward. The joke being that this guy's gonna go right here. My king's gonna sidestep this way. What the hell? Oh, he fired. He fired. I was like, what just happened? Head down, Mr. President. All right, so he could shoot that. I don't like that. This kind of blocks away. I'm just gonna skip here. We're just gonna pop, and this puts the king back in check. He played a princess. That's cool. You cannot move units you played immediate like that turn, so maybe a suspect decision. The peasant. So I'm gonna throw a. No. Oh, I gotta move him. Oh, that sucks. Well, if that's the case, let's just throw this guy here, move him over. And he immediately puts my knight under threat, which is gross. That guy gets sniped. Wasn't paying attention to that, but that's okay. Okay, I could bait him away. I think what we do here is this mixed with this to put him in check. It gets our guy out of the way. He's incentivized to take this with the princess, but he actually has to move instead. Because he didn't take, we have a few options. We can move our white queen over to here, put him in pretty devastating check. We could also just jam in here. I don't really hate that. I'm actually gonna skip. Yeah, I'm just gonna put that there. You're attacking my sniper again. Okay, so sniper could move here. Or we could just take a princess. We don't really take a princess. Not that great. I kind of like the idea of... No, because that's not very good either. The problem with sniper is against this opponent, it's not that great. So maybe I do this and this. Let him get popped. if it so happens to be that way. I mean, we could move it. I could move it right now. Yeah. Okay, and then the knight gets to move. That's not bad. Although we're in check now, which isn't great. Although it also... mostly irrelevant. We just put a copper here. Put a knight here. No, we just throw a copper here. Don't worry about the check so much. And then move the knight over here, over here. Move the knight up. If he takes my knight with this pawn, I don't really care. Yeah, that's more of my concern than anything. So I think what's about to happen is I'm about to trade a queen for a princess, and I don't really hate it. Yeah, because see, now I feel like I have all the space in the world. You've hit. My guy's not under threat yet. It's next turn I have to move. He has the black lance, but he's protected. We just have to move our queen. I don't need to play anything. We can actually put the guy in check as well as a bonus, and he's just locked in. That's funny. So... two knights, huh? Knights. I don't see any reason to do that. I'm gonna shoot. No, shooting can't be right here because of the princess. It could be right. It's probably just shift over, if I'm being honest. Throw a copper here and just fire that way. Yeah, now he's in a bad spot. I'm totally okay with this. So this just got put here, so we'll fire this one. Now we're in kind of a like a fighting the timer situation. So, because of the way we're laid out, I don't really want to go that way. You kind of handle things over here. Did I just like let my guy get captured there? That was awkward. Whoops. Sometimes there's a lot going on and you get distracted. Well, peasant right here is okay. So this guy cannot go sideways. There's only 4 turns left, which is very relevant to what's happening. You're gonna come back here. Because what's about to happen is the map's gonna shrink. And it's gonna be bad for him. Yeah, I didn't care that guy got shot. 8 turns. Okay, so we could take the Black Princess. We lose the Black Land. We lose the Queen if we do that. We don't even want... We kind of just want to keep him trapped, if I'm being honest, with his own guys. How do I save this queen? It's actually a matter of just putting it right here. That's insane. We still want a deploy spot? This is also safe. Right here. Actually, I think we go here to protect the rook. Oh, I think he... Now what? He's built up quite the barricade over there, but he is running out of time. Feels like this is the obvious answer, and then this can kind of go any which way, so can this. I don't really want to move, if I'm being honest. I don't know that there's a great move to be had here. If there is, more likely than not, the best move is probably here, which he immediately snipes out. 4 turns. Black Lance is coming. That's okay. Night. Rook. Rook can be here. This guy can take out this. No, let's just get rid of this guy. Let's get rid of that piece. That piece is a problem. All right, 2 turns. Have to survive 2 turns right now. In a very, very odd game. This thing attacks in such a strange pattern. So the queen is safe, the rook is safe, everything's kind of safe. I can't move this guy. I think we just go here to protect the king as much as possible. And then we win because his guy fell off the board. That was the problem with what he was doing. All right, so now we can movement vertical, movement horizontal, or placement backwards. I like movement horizontal. Lets us get out of trouble. And I'll take a quartz. It's another cheap unit. As we go to the final battle against the Overlord himself. He's bullshit. Yeah, he gets to move however he wants. Look at his movement chart. He moves 2 in any direction. He's a super king, and this guy's gonna go here, and we're gonna move right here. Oh, he's a fool, though. I don't... Sometimes the AI just really confuses me. All right, you're gonna go here, and you're gonna... Whoop. My sniper kid. And he played a queen. It's not good. Not good. Oh. Oh, but that's just the perfect unit, is it not? Because that puts them both under danger. I'll just move right here. That's whatever. Looks like I got a queen for my trouble. Oh, and I get to put him in check. I mean, it's not like the best, right? Because this is gonna go here, and this is we're gonna take his queen, obviously, but we do trade straight up for it. Plebeian is going to be very... Actually, no. Knight's going to go here to put this guy in check. That way he gets a free shot at that black diamond so that the Overlord has to move back. It's a crazy game. It's a crazy game. Oh, we drew another queen, huh? Okay. Well, this queen can go. No. No, that would be bad. This queen can go. Here? I'm trying to think, because, like, if we move up, put this guy in check. No, we just put this here. He can't simultaneously take my queen and get us away from this check. Like, these are just things he can't do. Now, I get to put a pawn here. Pull this guy all the way back, because remember, he goes 2 over, so I can't stand next to him. So he's much harder to checkmate. And then we start systematically breaking down the black diamonds. Okay. I will skip. It does seem like putting him in check is the right play here. There is danger, right? We could lose a queen if he had tried to block himself. But it seemed like it was worth the risk. Now, though, I get to do this plus this. So you can't ladder mate because, well, he moves twice. But that's okay, because I just want my pawn here, actually. If he takes it, that's fine. All right, he's gonna put that guy in. Put our king in check. Can't do anything about it but move. Is acceptable, I guess. The real question is, where do we move? I think it's here, because this guy can still capture adjacent words. Oh, I guess that wasn't great, huh? I could rewind, but I'm gonna not. Go here. What's safe? Oh, just everywhere is safe. That's awfully annoying. Maybe I should just back up. Mother fricker. Okay. Where is my safe spot? It's right here. The Black Cavalier really gets a lot of value because it can go basically wherever it wants to. I'm gonna put a peasant here and move here. We do have 2 freaking queens lined up. Oh my gosh, it is able to do that too. All right, we actually drew one. So now I can block this. We're now no longer under threat. And I'm gonna put him in check. And he loses now. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I forgot the cannon can move. I was thinking that was a tower. Well, actually, that's not all bad. Hold up. I'm gonna go here. This attacks both. He moves back. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, we could just take that knight if we want. We're just in a little bit of danger down here. I'm gonna put him here and just nab this. Yep, that's totally fine with me. I would like to line up an attack, if I'm being honest. But I can't do it because he's there. But I can do it because I could go here. We're gonna bash in this way. Of course well, I guess he sees that, right? So this comes in, counters. I don't, well, I guess he can stop it now because he can get out. Well, he just blocked himself in. I don't understand. I don't know why you would do that. Whatever, we win. I'm the greatest. I made some serious mistakes in that last game. I feel like I had some good games and some like really embarrassingly bad games. Meta progression unlocks. Here we go. But overall, like I think this is a really fun game to play. It runs really well in the Steam Deck, which is what I've been playing it on mostly. I didn't know it kind of overlaps here if you get enough stuff. We unlocked new units. I haven't seen any of these. Twin Princess boss. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The Twin Princess. Gotta watch out for that. And so when I get to level 7, I unlock the 4th faction, which I want to do, but more units. Let's see what the units are real quick before I end the video. But yeah, this game's pretty good. I think it's $10 on Steam right now. I mean, regularly. You could probably get a little bit cheaper than that as well. Get on sale. Let's see. Range units. Rook Princess, Cavalier, Steel. And I don't think these were the ones. Cannon. Oh, I have to actually discover them. Oh, so it's these 3. We unlocked the 3 more units from the ranged section, but I actually have to find them in the campaign. Okay, that's cool. And you have the different rulers that are all pretty neat. And you can make a custom deck, and you can play them all online with your friends. I don't know how it works, but I imagine it would be fun for a little bit. I think the game is pretty great. But yeah, check it out. Support your small indie devs. If you like this video, don't forget to do YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate y'all for watching, and I will see you next time. Jeff out. Bye.